Overtime in Las Vegas, ejections in the Big Easy, and a shutout in Duval. Plus, Aaron Rodgers still owns the Bears, 18 touchdowns in the past 7 games versus Chicago, and he's 7-0 during that span. Welcome to another episode of the Purple Huddle Podcast. We're pleased to be on your airways following another stellar week of football. Detroit, the New York Jets, the Giants, and Jacksonville. It was the first time in nearly 4,000 days that each of those teams won on the same day. That's almost 11 years, everyone. Alongside Kevin and Durp, I'm Brandon. Kevin and I aren't happy campers today, but Durp's team got their first win of the season.
Yeah, shout out goes to Kevin. He was right on a lot of things that he said. Noah Brown. But at the same time, I was right too. I said we needed to play a damn near perfect game for it to happen, and that's what it took.
Yeah, all I have to say is 21 points in the fourth quarter.
Long day at the bank.
Long day at the bank. And it was, you could hear a pin drop.
Absolutely.
You know, people were saying that you could hear the fire trucks outside. That's how bad it got.
I'd imagine. I could only imagine.
Oh, boy.
Well, Tua Tagovailoa, he took the Ravens defense to school for career day on Sunday. He finished with 469 yards and 6 touchdowns after his Dolphins stunned the Ravens flock with a 21-point comeback. Tyreek and Jalen combined for 22 receptions, 361 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Kevin, simply, what the hell happened?
Defense fell apart. I mean, there's nothing more you can say about it other than the defense fell apart. I mean, you have a 21-point lead and going into the fourth quarter. Your offense is clicking on all cylinders. But you can't, basically, Lamar was 1 point. Now, I'll give you, you did have the fumble on the 1 yard line. That hurt.
Yep.
Not making going for 4th and 1, not getting in, that hurt.
True.
But and the other thing, when you've got the best kicker in the NFL at your disposal, yeah, okay, granted, 58-yard field goal isn't guaranteed, but it's pretty much money clutch for him.
Definitely.
I mean, this is the man that kicked the 66-yard game winner, and your defense was lost. I mean, how are you going to put one person on a rookie with Tyreek Hill?
Yeah.
And then having him look around and then you have your 2 veterans arguing with each other, and whose man it should be.
Yep.
After I'll go ahead touchdowns. Like, this is something that cannot happen. Granted, it's only going to be 2 of a new defense, but you still got 3 all pros in that lineup. This cannot happen.
Yeah, it looked like last year all over again, honestly.
They look confused. Like they never played football before. It is just a long day. It all boils down to, at this point, you have to look at scheme, and you have to look at coaching. I mean, and the one constant between last year and this year, John Harbaugh. I hate to say it, man's a great coach, but is it starting to get stale?
That's a good point.
Is he starting to lose the team? Because they're flipping out on the sideline and they're looking at him like he's got 3 heads. Like, what the hell are you mad about?
Yeah,
you're not going out there playing. So I don't know. There's a lot of places you can look. You can look at on the field, you can look at off the field, but at this point, you gotta look for something like that. You gotta look at coaching, because that's coaching. They should not have been that lost, and they should have known where Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill were at all times. I don't care if you got murdered by the tight ends. You should have known where Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle were at all times in that game and made sure they were covered. Someone else beats you, that's fine, but you do not let those 2 beat you. And they combined for what? 220? What'd you say? 222 receptions?
Yeah, 361 yards.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Right, that's just my rant.
Yeah, I don't blame you, man. It goes back to what I said about last week. Like, I think the league really did mess up letting these 2 get on the same team. They're 2 of the Tyreek's arguably the fastest player to ever play, and Jalen Waddle is right there with them. I mean, he may not be one of the fastest to ever play, but I mean, even in Alabama, he was catching slants, taking it for 80.
Yep.
And you talking about coaching, I think it really comes down to Mike McDonald, Joe's defensive coordinator, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think it more or less comes down to him. I know like you said, for you to be up that much and then let your foot off the gas is one thing, but you can't let those two beat you. Those two, you can. So what's going to happen if you let Mike Gesicki go off for 10 catches, or whatever?
Mhm.
But you can't let Tyreek take the top off the defense the way that he did, and Waddle do the same thing. And their speed is just crazy. Even Chase Edmonds is, he's a fast guy.
Mhm.
I think their defense is going to be hard to handle this year for a lot of people. Y'all aren't going to be the only ones to get burned by them.
They got three rush. They got three hurry ups, or two in the whole game. They weren't even getting across the line.
That's typical pass rush.
Yeah, it's like Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's our typical pass rush. But yeah, we got to turn the page quick. We're going to New England next week to take on the Patriots, while the Dolphins, that might be the game of the week coming up, where they'll host the 2-0 Buffalo Bills down in South Beach, featuring the top 3 receivers right now in the league as far as yardage goes. Turning the page, Durp's Cowboys were the only team in the NFL that didn't score a touchdown in week 1, but that changed on Sunday. Dallas scored 2 early touchdowns and held the potent Cincinnati offense in check. Durp, set the scene for our listeners who might have missed the game.
Okay, like I said, once again, apologies to Kevin, and he was correct on what he was saying, and we even had Mike going off in the group chat talking about Noah Brown.
Yep.
I've known what we've had, but I didn't know what we had. He's been on the team for a while, and it's just like all of a sudden he's getting his chance and he's making the most of it. You love to see it. Like I said, we were going to need a perfect game in order to win that, and that's basically what we got. Diggs on 3 targets, he only allowed 2 catches to Jamar Chase for 14 yards. You can't ask for something. You can't ask for a game better than that. Micah got 2 sacks again, back-to-back weeks, fastest to 17 sacks ever in 18 games. Our O-line only allowed 1 sack in the whole game, so you can't ask any more of that, band-aided together offensive line that we got.
Yeah.
And even more apologies. My deepest apologies go to Cooper Rush. He 19 for 31 for 235 yards and a TD, completion percentage of 61.3, average 7.6 per attempt. You can't ask any more of this guy. He's coming into the league as a backup, and we've asked him to throw him to the Tigers 2 times. He's come out 2-0 both times. And ladies and gentlemen, we actually utilized Tony Pollard. We actually used him. We gave him the ball. For once, we gave him the ball. And you see what happens. Good things happen when you let that man touch the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want 9 for 43, didn't he?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, about 9 for 43, about 5. There was 5 yards to carry.
And I think Zeke was right over him, right?
Yeah, Zeke was averaging 3.5 to carry, I think.
Yeah, if we can just keep utilizing both of them, I think we'll be okay, because Dak, Cooper, Rush, whoever's back there, having a rushing game, having your running game going always opens up other things.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
For sure.
And of course, my namesake went off again on the season, 5 for 91. Mr. Noah Brown himself.
Yes, sir. That was a beautiful that touchdown he had was a beautiful snag.
Oh, that was
beautiful.
Gorgeous. That was a chef's kiss touchdown right there, boy. It was like, bam. And then they didn't have an answer for CeeDee Lamb, which you would have thought, with that defense, they would at least have something for CeeDee Lamb. They had nothing for him. Yep. He was averaging 10.7 to catch. It was like, damn.
Yeah, he's like low key having a good start to the season already. They were everybody's really high on him, and I'm happy to see it. But he's doing everything that we're asking of him. Going out there, I think he had like 75 yards or something like that. So yeah, you can't ask for more of. Like I said, we needed to play a perfect game all around, and that's basically what we did.
Yo, held Jim Mixon at 57 yards rushing.
Yeah,
if that doesn't say anything,
that
right
was very good.
It does.
Yeah.
And Jamar Chase didn't go off either, really.
He only had 5 carries for 54 yards.
So Cincinnati, they've become the first Super Bowl team to start 0-2 since the 2015 Seahawks. Duval, once again, the Jaguars put it on the Colts. The defense picked off Matt Ryan 3 times. He was taken to the ground another 5 times, and Jonathan Taylor was limited to 54 yards on 9 touches. Call me crazy, but I picked the Jags to win the AFC South this year, and right now they're the only team with a win in the divisions.
Crazy.
Durp, you know we're never going to hear the end of this if the Jags end up taking that division. You know this, right?
Well, I just want to let everybody know that last year when anybody picked the Jags in our pick,
Yep.
Brandon would say, "What is why do y'all keep picking the Jags?" And
Yep.
we kept getting burned by him. And it's like because we all know, well, we all feel like eventually it's going to start clicking, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when you pick in the top 5, 27 years in a row,
It's finally got payoff.
His mention's going to have to pay off. But I tell you what, Trevor Lawrence, man, woo, 25 for 30 for 235. Yeah. And they actually used Christian Kirk.
Yeah, they were good. They caught so much flack for giving him all that money. And I think right now he's one of like the top receivers like in all categories. I think he's already got like 3 or 4 touchdowns. It's only week 2. So
yeah, he's starting well.
Yeah, they were given a lot of flack for the off-season moves and everything, but like you said, it's crazy to say that they're the only team in the AFC South to win. It's crazy, but
yeah,
I know, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the problem is down there and with the Colts, but I can tell you what the answer is not, and that's Matt Ryan.
I agree.
This like I said last time, they just keep on trying to find like Band-Aid quarterbacks and for trying to fill it in. You know, in that game, he had a QBR of 6.2.
Yeah, I saw that. I thought I was reading it wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when I was looking at stuff and taking down stuff, it said 6.2, and I was like, that can't be right. Like I can go out there and throw for a 6.2. You know, like
when your average yards per pass is less than your QBR.
Yeah.
I mean, it's more than your QBR. There's something.
Yeah, as of right now, he has a touchdown interception ratio of 1-4. He's got 1 touchdown and 4 interceptions. And I think one of their main problems is they have no depth. They have all these like crazy good starters, but then once their starters go out, they don't have depth.
Yeah.
It's like these guys go out and then what? You don't have any backup plan or anything like that. Nowadays you have to have that. And I just feel like they don't have it. They have a really good like starting core, but then once their players start to get banged up, then they just fall apart.
Hey, when your leading rusher only has 54 yards in the day, and in your top 4, one of your rushers averaged negative 1.5 yards per carry, that's not good.
I was just gonna say it seemed like in the second half, I know I was flipping back and forth. I was watching this game close because it was, looking like it was gonna be a shutout, but it seemed like Indianapolis would get inside Jacksonville territory, and then I turned back to the Ravens game, and then I turned back and they, Jacksonville has the ball again, or I'd see on the ticker that Jacksonville has the ball. So it seemed like every time they got a little bit of momentum, turnover or something, whatever happens. So shout out to the Jaguars holding down a team that a lot of people had definitely winning the AFC South, and some people had going deep in the playoffs. As of now, winless.
Yeah.
How many in a row have the Colts came to Jacksonville and lost now?
It's been a lot. I think I had it written down somewhere.
7, 6, something like that. Like
I think it's 7. Yeah.
Yeah, that's insane. Like
especially for as bad as the Jags have been over the years.
Yeah, but at least it's not as bad as the Bears and
and the Packers.
Yeah, that's 24 and counting.
Yep. So yeah, India's
4 lost, which is counting, and that's from going both stadiums.
Yep. India's been shut out 3 times since 2005. Each time it was against Jacksonville. Doesn't get much easier for the Colts as they'll face the Chiefs and the Titans the next 2 weeks. I know everyone, the Titans got blown out, but still. All right. Anyway, Maryland football is in full swing, and that means it's time for Touchdown Terps. Kevin, what's making news in College Park?
Well, let me tell you something. It was a battle. It was a major battle, but back and forth between the Terps eked out a 34-29 victory over SMU. I hate saying the name. His brother just litters up. But Talia Tungavailoa went 17 for 23, 214 yards and 2 touchdowns. Hemby went 16 rushes for 151 yards and a touchdown. Littleton stepped inside. He was going to get into the game with 5 rushes for 15 yards and a touchdown. And they utilized the passing game much because the rushing game was getting in there. Raheem Jarrett was their leading receiver with 2 catches for 65 yards. Tander Mordecai for SMU, he went 25 for 54 for 369 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And Trey Sigger went 19 rushes for 86 yards. Let me tell you guys, it was a back and forth game. There was a lot of times when it looked like Maryland was saying, "Here, take it. We don't want this game." Bad play, bad scheme calling, and life doesn't get easier for the Terps as they have to travel to Ann Arbor to face Michigan. Will the Terps be able to upset the number 4 ranked Wolverines? We'll find out on Saturday when kickoff is at 12 p.m. from Michigan Stadium. All right, Brandon. The Browns and the Jets came down to the wire. Flacco led the Jets on a game-winning drive where he tossed a touchdown to rookie Garrett Wilson with 22 seconds left in the game. Brandon, how did the Jets pull off this road upset?
He had a Statue of Liberty. He really showed up. 4 passing touchdowns. Garrett Wilson, the rookie, 8 receptions, 102 yards, and 2 touchdowns, including the game winner. Nick Chubb, they held him under 100 yards rushing. So that's part of the reason why they took this win here. But yeah, I called out the running backs last week. Brees Hall and Michael Carter. Mike LaFleur finally got their carries going, finally got them going on the ground. They didn't finish with much, but it was better than last week. I think that turning point for me was right there at the end, obviously, and a lot of people agree that, Nick Chubb went in for that touchdown when they was that put him up by 13, just right around 2 minutes left in the game, or give or take in that span. A lot of people were calling out Stefanski saying, should Chubb had fallen down, let the clock run out? Was there a lack of communication? Did Nick Chubb just want to score? What was going on? So yeah, the Jets get an early win on the season, a win that a lot of people probably didn't have them finishing with a W in this game. I think just about all of us in the Picks League picked Cleveland in this contest. But on the other side of the field, a good game by Durp's former receiver, Amari Cooper, 9 receptions, 101 yards and a touchdown. Durp has a lot of insight on him. So yeah, Durp, what were your thoughts on this contest here?
Plain and simple, Brandon. Joe Flacco is elite.
Hey.
I think it was just a miscommunication from top to bottom with the Browns.
Mm-hmm.
Should I score? Hey, if you get this close, maybe just go down. Or even on the defense, the big touchdown to Corey Davis that sparked the comeback. He was damn near in the parking lot when he caught the ball. Running in to catch the touchdown. And another thing I noticed with the Jets is these players love playing for their head coach. Saleh, they love playing for their head coach. I seen the thing when they were the get back guy on the sideline. He was fighting for his life.
Yeah.
Because Saleh was pushing him to the side, getting his play. Like I said, when you have a coach like that, players like playing for you. It I feel like it just flows better. It makes things better.
How do you not want to play for Robert Saleh? I mean, even when he was the defensive coordinator in San Fran, it's like that man was always up and down the field, screaming, hollering. Really, a lot of this comes down to turnovers too. If you really look at it, Flacco had no interceptions. Brissett had one. It came down to basically.
And that was a late turnover by Brissett, right?
Yeah,
late game.
That ended the game.
Yeah, that's what ended your game. And then when you got Brees Hall rushing 7 carries for 50 yards, 7.1 a carry. Like I always say, when you got a rusher that can take time off the clock, I'm using them. But in Cleveland, that place is just, I hate to say it, but they went, as soon as they got rid of, the worst thing they could have done was got rid of a Baker. Because now, well, think about it. At least he would have that offense playing up to par. Jacoby Brissett, really? He went 22 for 27, 229 yards. We had a touchdown and an interception.
It's a decent backup, though.
Yeah, he's a decent, but that's the key. That's the thing. He's a backup.
Yeah.
He's not your starter. He's not your answer. Not at all.
So yeah, the Browns, they're on a short week. They'll welcome the Pittsburgh Steelers to town on Thursday night. It's going to be a physical game. Buckle your chin straps, get the ice bath ready for the following day. It's going to be a big nail-biting contest, more than likely out there in Cleveland on Thursday night. Battle in the Big Easy, Marshawn Lattimore and Mike Evans. They both were ejected following a skirmish between several players in the Bucs-Saints game on Sunday. Believe it or not, nobody scored a touchdown until the fourth quarter, In the end, Brady finally got the Saints monkey off his back, and the Bucks are now 2-0.
That's bad. I thought you were talking about the football game.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys know this, but did you know that Mike Evans and Marshawn Lattimore don't like each other? It's crazy.
I was late to the party.
It's crazy. Like, what is this? Like the second or third time we've seen Mike Evans come off the sidelines and just blindside Marshawn Lattimore, and he's up there screaming like, "It's Tom Brady. What do you expect me to do?" And like the entire time, like Leonard Fournette was the one that pushed Marshawn Lattimore, and Marshawn Lattimore was just talking shit to Brady. But Mike Evans saw the opportunity, and now Mike Evans is going to be suspended for this game, and. Is Chris Godwin even ready to come back yet, or is their number one receiver about to be like Rashad Penny?
Yeah, it's not looking good on the receiving core. Actually, still getting that offensive line fixed put together, but yeah, they're short on offensive linemen and wide receivers right now.
But their savior is coming. They just signed Cole Beasley.
So, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you know how Brady likes to work with these slot receivers, so he could end up putting in work. But I think a big shout out goes to this Bucs defense. Because they were all over Jameis, and then even Devin White said they knew it was just a matter of time before he started giving them that ball. And that's exactly what he did.
Yeah,
he even quoted the 30 for 30 thing. It was kind of dirty. It was kind of dirty, but I think it goes out. And there was definitely a couple of questionable calls made by those refs, like the
there always is with a Brady game.
Well, yeah, I don't want to be that guy and talk about how the defense carried Brady and the
Evan will.
By all means, you don't have to be. I will be.
Well, I mean, that's cool. Guy. I mean, but in this instance, that's exactly what happened. The defense definitely carried them to this victory, and like I said, there was a couple calls in there where like you were just looking at it like how do you even call that? Like, but it is what it is.
Yeah, yes, man. You don't have any problem with having to be that guy. I am that guy. and speaking of like this defense, I guess I have to agree with you on that one. With the defense, 6 sacks in that game. I mean, it's an average of 1.4 seconds between snap to percent having somebody in his face. I mean, you can't just say it's a crappy offensive line. You got to give that defense the fact they were getting that punch, they were getting off that ball. It was I couldn't believe it either when I first saw the score, 3-0 going into halftime. I'm like, holy crap! And then the fight. I mean, this is the most entertaining part of this game so far.
Yep.
All right. Well, we're about halfway through the show, just in time for halftime headlines with Brandon. Brandon, what do you got for it, bud?
Busy few days around the NFL, guys. Mike Evans, as Durp said, he'll likely spend Sunday afternoon at home. The Bucs wideout has been suspended 1 game for being the person responsible in starting a big scuffle between the Bucs and Saints on Sunday afternoon. He and New Orleans defensive back Marshawn Lattimore were each ejected. More fines are expected as well. Jalen Smith is now a member of the Big Blue. The Giants signed the former Cowboy to their practice squad ahead of their matchup with Dallas this weekend. Jalen was drafted by the Cowboys in 2016. Good news for everyone. Bills corner Dane Jackson is out of the hospital today. The 25-year-old was rushed to the hospital in their home opener after colliding with his own teammate. Doctors say Jackson did not need any major surgery. The Commanders, they are now turning to a new center after Chase Rollier suffered a knee injury against Detroit. The 6-year pro was placed on IR early this week. And a fan is facing several charges after he threw a bottle at Browns owner Jimmy Haslam. It happened just before the end of the Jets-Browns game on Sunday, striking Haslam in his leg. Police have identified the fan, and he's also facing a lifelong ban from First Energy Stadium. Motor City Meltdown. Rookie first-round pick Aiden Hutchinson had a coming-out party for the Lions in their 36-27 win over the Commanders. After giving up more than 200 rushing yards last week against the Eagles, the Lions held Washington to 88 rushing yards. How about Jared Goff, Kevin?
This is the Jared Goff we've been waiting to see. You realize it was 13 games into last year before they decided to win a game in Detroit?
Yep.
13 games into the season. It was also 11 games before Jared Goff decided he was going to do a touchdown pass. This game alone, he went 20 for 34, 256 yards, and 4 touchdowns. He had more touchdown passes in this game than he had in the first 12 weeks of last season.
Damn.
Yeah. that alone is like. When I read that, I had to read it like 3 or 4 times to make sure I was reading it right. But yeah, he had more touchdown passes in this game than the first 12 games of last season. And Amon-Ra St. Brown, what got into him, man? 2 receptions for 68 yards. And the defense, they didn't play great, but then they didn't play dumb. They sacked. They gave up some. They did give up some sacks. 5 did on the Commanders. So
Yep.
This is a Lions team that I have been saying for years, don't sleep on. And everybody tells me I'm a joke after every season. I'm like, look, when you pick for 50 years, you're in the top. You're one of the top 10 picks. It's going to eventually happen. Now, am I saying this is what we're going to expect every week? No, because again, there's the Lions. But can they build on this? Well, absolutely. And I'm interested and excited to see what happens next. Which will give you a preview of later on down the line.
You touched on a lot of it. This St. Brown, he's week in and week out. He's just looking like he's definitely Jared Goff's favorite target.
Yeah.
Before this whole offense had to lean on like Hawkinson, and not too many teams can run through their tight end unless you're like San Fran when Kittle's out there. And they now have, it's wild to say, but like the Lions have like so many offensive weapons now. A lot of people don't talk about DeAndre Swift unless it's like fantasy football or whatever, but like he's like same thing as St. Brown. Week in and week out, he's doing his thing. I don't know how long the touchdown was, but he caught it, fell down, got back up, and then ran the touchdown.
Yeah.
Not many guys are doing that. And just like we were saying with Salah, I truly believe that these players love to play for Dan Campbell. Like he's a player's coach, used to play. He's tough, gritty, and they really like playing with him. That guy, their offensive lineman, Dan Skipper, dude's a 6-year pro, and this is his first start. And
yes.
They put him in there. He said he's been cut more times than he can count. He's had contracts that are not even worth the paper that they're written on. He comes in and just does his job. They give him a standing ovation, chant his name at the end, and stuff like that goes really far. And like you said, I think that they're going to be able to build on this.
Yep. Speaking of building on stuff, for the first time since 1952, the Lions have scored 35 points or more in 3 straight games. So we'll see how they fare next week. They'll travel to Minnesota at US Bank Stadium for a battle with the Vikings. What a great game to premiere football on Prime Video last week. The Chargers went toe-to-toe with the Chiefs in Kansas City, but the Chiefs prevailed after a late game pick 6 thrown by Justin Herbert. Kansas City was only 4 for 12 on 3rd down.
What can you say? This was a battle back and forth. And Justin Herbert, everybody knows my love for Herbert. I've liked this kid since his college days. 33 for 48, 340 yards, and he went toe-to-toe, touched it with touchdowns. So actually got more touchdowns than Pat Mahomes. Pat Mahomes only had 2, Herbert had 3, but it always comes down to the picks.
True.
And it's the one pick that he threw that probably cost him the game. But Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he got his carries, 8 for 74, 9.3 yards a carry. Travis Kelce, he's always going to get in when the receiving with 5 receptions, 51 yards. But I think what it all came down to at the very end was, just grit. And like you said, Herbert threw that one interception at the end of the game. That's what cost him.
Yeah, we're gonna see what happens with Herbert's ribs now. They're saying I think it's just like a hairline fracture or a couple hairline fractures or something like that. But when you hurt your ribs, it hurts to even breathe in too hard.
Definitely
hurts to laugh. So we'll see what's going with that. And a lot of people aren't touching on is that Keenan Allen didn't even play in this game. That I think this would have been a different game if Keenan Allen had played. I'm not saying that they would have won. Like it was still a good game no matter what. But I think their offense could have been even more potent. But with Keenan Allen being out, one thing that I noticed is that Gerald Everett, the tight end that came over from Seattle, he's steadily becoming like a bigger part of this offense, slowly and slowly. Last thing that we want is the Chargers to have yet another offensive weapon. To touch on that 99-yard pick 6, the rookie Jalen Watson. Shout out to him. Drafted in the seventh round, and I found out that when he was in college, he was paying his way through college by working at Wendy's.
Wow. Hard work.
Yeah, you go from working at Wendy's to a seventh round pick to a 99-yard interception in prime time. You can't write it any better than that.
Definitely. So yeah, how about that old school tackle on Kelsey down there in the red zone? Derwin James.
The sidewalk slam.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't see plays like that very often anymore, guys. What do y'all think about that?
He was just talking to his brother. I seen the thing, and they touched on talking about Derwin James, and Kelsey said, "Yeah, he's one of my favorite players to watch as long as when we're not playing him." And then you fast forward a couple days later, and you're getting picked up in the air, slam down on your back.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. So before you go to the pros, players must spend time in college. So Durp will break down everything with his Virginia Tech Hokies football team each week. His newest segment is called the Hokey Pokey. Do your thing, Durp.
All right, Hokie Nation. After a dropped, embarrassing loss to Old Dominion, we're looking to turn the season around. An impressive victory over Boston College was the first step, and then the beat up on the Wofford Terriers was just what the doctor ordered. Now at 2-1, we have the West Virginia Mountaineers coming off a 65-7 victory against Towson, coming to Blacksburg. We're a perfect 2-0 at home, whereas they are 0-1 on the road. They have a big arm quarterback in JT Daniels and a decent tandem running back duo in CJ Donaldson and Tony Mathis Jr. On the defensive side of the ball, the teams are close in stats with less than 10 sacks and 5 turnovers, respectively. I look for Grant Wills to take advantage of that for the Hokies and look to his duo of 6'2 receivers in Caleb Smith and Steven Gosnell. If Dax Hollifield and the defense can contain the rushing attack, I believe the Hokies can come away with the victory. That's no easy feat, however, as the Mountaineers have scored close to over 40 in each game this season. And that is my report on all things Virginia Tech football.
Rocky Mountain High, the Denver Broncos narrowly escaped another upset on Sunday when the Houston Texans came to town. Head coach Nathaniel Hackett is under fire again. The final score was 16-9.
What was the saying when he was in Seattle? Let Russ cook, right? It seems like he's forgotten how to cook. He needs to go to a cooking class or something. I don't know. Against the Texans, he had a QBR of 45.6, completion percentage 45.2. He was sacked 5 times, and when you're playing the Texans and your fans are booing you, you're doing something wrong. And I don't know. I honestly don't know if Hackett's going to make it out of his first year as a head coach. I honestly don't think that he's going to.
Good point. We talk about Nathaniel Hackett. I wasn't a big fan of him when they got hired there in Denver. We talk about a guy that was 3 years offensive coordinator in Green Bay. Of course, you have Aaron Rodgers, Matt LaFleur out there. I think that's really the only reason why he got the job. He wasn't calling the plays out there. He was just basically a guy in the background, and it's starting to show now. We talk about the issues in the first week, and then in this game, you had the delay of game on the field goal attempt. Ended up forcing a punt, all while the crowd was chanting down, helping the team out. Going 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and they still got the delay of game. So it's issues all over, as Durp says. So we'll see if they're able to turn this around. There were some people I've seen, on sports networks saying that Denver was going to win this division. I thought they were crazy, and it's starting to show that they're crazy. Despite coming out with a win, it's still not looking good for them.
Things are only going to get worse now because I think Jerry Jeudy broke a collarbone or something like that. He's going to be out. He's going to be out for a while. So now you got Cortland Sutton, who's pretty good. He seems like he's one of Russ's favorite targets. But then you have KJ Hamler. They're going to have to. They're not utilizing this backfield enough.
Definitely.
You have Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon. You need to be using them two more. Javonte Williams is a workhorse. Gordon's been doing it in this league for a long time now. And I was looking up stats and everything, and right now ESPN.com has Russ's stats projected as 17 touchdowns and 9 picks. So of course projections mean nothing.
Definitely. But right now it looks like it might actually go in that favor.
Yeah, for real. On the other side of the ball, I feel like the Texans are just asking Davis Mills to do too much. Against the Colts, he passed 37 times and then 38 against the Broncos.
Yeah.
Dameon Pierce was hyped up so much in the offseason, and it's like y'all aren't even using him.
Mm-hmm.
And they just need to, like I said last week, they need to stop it with this Rex Burkhead shit and just let the young man cook. Let him do his thing, because that's just unacceptable.
Definitely. So we'll see Denver on Sunday Night Football when they host the San Francisco 49ers. Jimmy G will battle off against his former NFC West foe in Russell Wilson. Speaking of San Francisco, disappointing news out of Santa Clara as quarterback Trey Lance is out for the year with an ankle injury. But Jimmy G is there, and he helped the team cruise to a 27-7 win over the Seahawks. Gentlemen, what should we expect from the Niners now that porn star Jimmy is back under center?
Well, when you put it like that, all I know is insurance is great when you have it, right? It's great when you need it, and that's exactly what happened. We all know why Jimmy G was still there. They may have tried to trade him, and the surgery might have, derailed it or whatever. But at the end of the day, they really didn't want to let him go because they knew that something like this may happen, or they didn't really fully trust in Trey Lance. Now, Jimmy G stepped right in, and he started 5 for 5 and threw a touchdown in the first drive. And after the game, he said it was just like riding a bike. So I feel like the 49ers are going to be the 49ers. Jimmy G's been there for a while. Shanahan's still the head coach. They still have a great defense. I feel like the team doesn't really change anything except for they might not run read options now.
Yeah. Hey, Jimmy G, porn star, he's going to make life hard for everybody else, right? But it's amazing how, all season they're like, we don't want him. We're going to try to trade him. Now you need him.
Yep. He wasn't even practicing with the team for a while.
Right. Now you don't have a choice. And he came in like he could have been like, forget it. He could have sat out. He could have never given no. But the content professional, he comes in 13 for 21, 151 yards and a touchdown. You have Jimmy G and Deebo Samuels. I think you're going to be pretty okay. And then you got Brandon Ayuk.
Yep.
I think my question, if anything, is not what's wrong with San Fran. It's what's wrong with Seattle. I mean, Geno Smith. No touchdown passes. 24 for 30, 197 yards, 1 interception. Rashad Penny, is your leading rusher with 15 yards.
But
Tyler Lockett's your leading receiver with 107. That I would be worried about right now is what happened to your run game.
So when you mentioned what's wrong with Seattle, were you expecting them to do something this year?
I was expecting them to be bad. I wasn't expecting them to be this bad.
Okay.
I figured with still having Rashad Penny back there, they'd at least be able to run the ball.
Yeah.
Well,
with having Tyler Lockett, they would at least and Noah Fant, they would at least you could use the pass attempt to run. I wasn't expecting Penny to 15 yard average 2.5 yards a rush. Like I said, I wasn't giving them the best records, but I wasn't expecting them to be this bad on the run either.
Okay.
Yeah. Same thing that you said. Their running game. Pete Carroll loves to run the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And they love to run the ball. And I feel like they kind of, Geno Smith came out against the Broncos and them and lit it up. And I feel like they kind of caught a fog, and they said, oh, well, maybe Geno can carry this team. As good as he played, he's, we all know he's not that guy. But they got down inside the goal line, like in the red zone, and they attempted a trick play near the goal line where Kenneth Walker got a direct snap and then a handoff to DJ Dallas, who then tried to throw it to DK Metcalf for an interception. Now, I don't know about you guys, but wouldn't you just use one of these running backs to run the ball in instead of playing hot potato with it and then just hoping one of them can throw it up to DK Metcalf?
Or do what the Ravens did with Andrew, do just a direct snap, let him go with it.
Especially with Seattle, that's not known for a bunch of trick plays and stuff, a lot of gadgets, and you go do something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, they only rushed for 35 yards on the day.
Yep.
So something's wrong there.
Yeah, he outsmarted himself. It's just like the Super Bowl all over again.
Yeah.
Oof.
Why not give that ball and let them pound it in, and you try to do some trick pass play and you cost you the game.
Yep, doesn't make any sense.
All right. Titanic failure, everyone. The Bills destroyed the Titans on Monday Night Football in every aspect of the game. Ryan Tannehill was benched in favor of Malik Willis as the Titans fell 41-7. Are the Bills the best team in football, and is Vrabel on the hot seat in Nashville?
I honestly feel sorry for anybody who's gonna have to play Buffalo this year, because if you don't think that you can come out here and put up 40, 50 points on this team, you don't stand a chance.
Absolutely.
You don't stand a chance at all. And the Titans offense has to be one of the worst offenses in the league right now. Like they don't have a number one receiver.
Yep.
If Derrick Henry doesn't go off for 100, 150 yards, they don't really stand a chance. And I really think that they're going to regret trading AJ Brown for like years to come.
Oh, I agree. And Buffalo scares the hell out. I mean, it's you just see what they can do, what Josh Allen can do. You know, it's always like even on a bad day, he's better than everybody else. And it's not like he has one receiver. Okay, so yeah, Stephon Diggs is his go-to. We all know that. It's 12 for 148. We saw it. But he spreads it out. He threw to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different receivers in that Tennessee Titans game. 8. You know, and only 2 had under double digit yards. And that was a Devin Singletary and Quentin Morris. Everybody else, even Jameson Crowder, who had 1 catch, was what caught it for 16 yards. That and alone is scary. But then you couple that with the defense that they have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 sacks on the day. They held Tennessee to 123 yards of passing, and I mean, and then 80 yards rushing.
Yeah, King Henry was shut down.
Yeah.
Did Gabe Davis
Shut
even play
down.
in this game?
What's that?
Did Gabe Davis even play in this game?
No.
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 Yeah, they're out here putting up 40-some points without their number 2 receiver. It's unfair.
Yeah, no, they didn't. Davis sitting there playing there. No, because your three leading receivers was Diggs for 12 at 148, Jake Kumaro 2 at 50, and then Dawson Knox at 4 for 41, and then Isaiah McKenzie had 2 for 37.
If Jake Kumaro is doing this to teams, I think we're all in trouble. If Josh Allen's got Jake Kumaro putting up numbers, we're all in trouble.
Yeah, he averaged 25 yards of reception for the 2 for 50.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be a long season for anybody, game for anybody who has to play them.
Well, hell, Isaiah McKenzie was averaging 18.5 reception. I never even heard of Isaiah McKenzie.
So yeah, something's got to give next week because the Raiders are coming to Nashville. It'll be a battle of 0-2 teams. Raiders and Titans, 1:00 Eastern time start there in the Music City. All right, let's take a look ahead at week 3. Pittsburgh travels to Cleveland for a classic AFC North rivalry game. Lovie Smith and his Texans are in the Windy City for a matchup against his old team, the Bears. Raiders are traveling to the Music City to battle the Titans. Colts and Chiefs are at Lucas Oil Stadium on Sunday afternoon. Big game in South Beach, Bills versus Dolphins, battle of 2-0 teams for the lead in the AFC East. Lions enter week 3 with a win under their belt, and they are preparing for the Vikings. Ravens will travel to Foxborough for their first taste of Mac Jones. Who? Mac Jones. The Bengals are hoping to turn it around against the Jets on Sunday afternoon. Eagles and Commanders are at FedEx Field for Hurts versus Wentz. Bake will get his first taste of the NFC South when the Panthers host the Saints. The Chargers are preparing to host the Jaguars at SoFi. Falcons and Seahawks will take the field Sunday afternoon at 4:25 p.m. Eastern Time. The Bucs are hosting the Packers without Mike Evans on Sunday. Jimmy G versus Russ, classic NFC West matchup. But wait, Russ is with the Broncos now. It's Sunday Night Football from Mile High. And Durp's Cowboys are in East Rutherford Monday night for the Giants. Which games are you looking forward to the most, and which team cannot afford to go 0-3?
Durp, that's gonna be number 2 for your boys. Number 2 for the Cowboys.
I'm picking them. Don't you go?
A game that I'm actually looking forward to see, believe it or not, it's not really one that maybe people are looking at for the reasons I am. The Lions at the Vikings. I'm interested to see how the Vikings come out playing the Lions after that win. Everybody in this minute says probably is favorite to win and favorite to win heavy, but I wouldn't be surprised if you don't see them give the Vikings a run for their money because they're going to have a lot more confidence under their belt. And hey, who knows? They might be able to pull the upset and stack too.
Yeah.
As far as my team that cannot afford to go 0-3, it's got to be the Bengals. You have a 3-way tie for first with Steelers 1-1, Ravens 1-1, and Browns 1-1. If they all win and you go 0-3, you're putting yourself in a position of not only are you not being able to defend your crown, but possibly not even making the playoffs.
Yep.
That's what I'm looking forward to in week 3.
For me, I'd say the game that I'm most looking forward to seeing is probably the Bucks and Packers. Because anytime you get Brady and Rodgers on the same field, it's always a great game. And for the same reasons that we touched on earlier, Mike Evans isn't going to be playing, and that Packers defense is no joke. So that Bucks O line is going to be tested. And another one that I think it will be good. Well, it'll either be good or it'll be really bad is the Broncos and the 49ers, because anytime Russ plays the 49ers, he always elevates his game and plays better, but they haven't been playing good here lately. The 49ers know how to play against Russ, so he's not going to have Jerry Jeudy more than likely. So I think that game is going to tell us a lot about both teams. As far as the team that can't go 0-3, for me, it's the Titans, because like I said earlier, they just don't have the offense to be able to climb out of a hole like that.
Definitely.
The Falcons, I feel like nobody really expected them to do much anyway. So if they go 0-3, and then like you said with the Broncos, I heard many people talking about the Raiders winning that division, and I just couldn't see it. And you're already 0-2, so you're not going to win that division. But if you come out 0-3, then I don't know what to tell you. You might not even make the wild card with that.
Yep. And man, if the Panthers go 0-3 after starting 3-0 last year, again, not a team that nobody expected much out of, but that'll be a small storyline definitely there in the Carolina area.
That's a good point.
For sure.
And one matchup I'm surprised nobody talked about was Bills at the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Both teams coming off of substantial victories. Buffalo's favorite to win in that game, but Dolphins were showing there ain't no slouch, so it might be a little bit better than people are expecting.
Yeah, you never know with those division games. You never know.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the most Pittsburgh and Cleveland. Like I said earlier, it's, you talk about the AFC North. The most bruising games are between Pittsburgh and Cleveland, and Pittsburgh and Baltimore. And those games there in Cleveland, when Pittsburgh goes there, are generally pretty good, and they're again physical. You need the ice bath ready. You need your meds ready, the IV, all that stuff. I mean, the refs got to be ready. They got to be on their A game and everything, because I mean, this is a long-standing rivalry. Obviously, we have some quarterback questions in Pittsburgh right now. We have some late game issues in week 2 for the Browns. So who's going to respond on this short week? I think Cleveland has a chance because they're at home on a short week. That generally favors the home team in most cases, but we will see. And, Pittsburgh, obviously that defense is going to look for a get back game after not necessarily having their best game in week 2 after coming out and dominating in week 1. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that Pittsburgh and Cleveland game.
It's just going to be fine.
I think one other game that could be...
please. Sorry, Durp.
No, you're good. Well, I think one other game that could be good television. This Chargers Jaguars game, as crazy as it sounds.
Yep.
Because with Justin Herbert banged up the way that he is, and the way that the Jags have been pressuring teams, say Josh Allen comes in there unblocked one good time and lays into him, then I don't even know who's the Chargers backup.
They got a decent backup though. Is it Chase Daniel?
Okay, yeah.
He's not, not saying that he would win, but I would when he came in the game last week, I was like, okay, even though it was only for one play, I was like, okay, if I'm a Chargers fan, I'm not stressing out right now.
Not hitting the panic button.
Because, they was close in that game, but if Chase Daniel had to start a game, I think they could feel confident in their backup. So yeah, Everyone, we'd love for you to email us your thoughts on your team, game predictions, and tell us what you'd like to see more from your team. You can reach us at purplehuddlepodcast@gmail.com. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Purple Huddle Pod. We'll be back to highlight everything from week 3 before you know it. In the meantime, enjoy the games, everyone.